What is going on, everybody? So it is Georgia Hate Week, and I know I have a lot of Georgia subscribers, and I appreciate that. But this week, I don't like you, okay? No offense. No, it is a fun week. I'm making this video on a Monday night. I'll probably release it midweek. But, I think the line right now, Florida, Georgia, I think Georgia is a 14.5 point favorite as of right now. I feel like that's a little high, especially Georgia losing Brock Bowers. And I know, losing Brock Bowers, a lot of people are saying it's just one guy. Well, for Georgia, that's one big guy. I think it hurts them a little bit, especially the first game. They're trying to fill out their offense. They're trying to see. Of course, they still got Ladd McConkey. I actually like their running game. Of course, I like their offensive line. Their offensive line is huge. I think listen, they still have 5-star studs on the offensive line. I like their running back. Listen, I love Florida Gator running backs way more, but Daijun Edwards, I like the way he runs. He definitely runs the football. So there's things, I have to take the hate out of it and examine and look at Georgia and who they are. Are they as dominant the past couple years? No. Any Georgia fan will tell you that. They're not They're not a dominant team like the previous 2 years. Like, I was like, man, these guys are just really good, especially last year. But, losing a stud offensive weapon like Brock Bowers, who, I was like, hands down, he's the best tight end in college football. I'm not going to say the best player overall because it's a tight end. It's kind of hard to put a tight end as the best player in college football. But it's crazy that he's even in the same breath as all these stud players that you see in college football right now, especially at the quarterback position. But listen, Georgia is still a good team. It's going to be, this Saturday, it's going to be a heated rivalry like it is every year. And, I think Florida's still going to come out. They're coming off, a huge victory at South Carolina. They enter this game 5-2. Georgia enters this game at 7-0. Of course, they're heavily favored, and rightfully so. They're the number one team in the country for a reason. It's on a neutral site, even though it's in Jacksonville. And, Kirby Smart has said, has gave some high praise for Florida and what Billy Napier and the coaching staff for Florida has done. And, he talked highly about Eugene Wilson and how he's able to break tackles. So, I'm thinking Kirby Smart's probably, whenever Eugene Wilson's in the game, and Kirby Smart in the defense is going to really look at Wilson, take him away. So I'm expecting maybe a big game from Pearsall. Maybe Andy Jean, maybe not Eugene Wilson, but I think Eugene Wilson's still going to get some catches. But I think some other guys are going to have to step up. On the offensive side, the run game, I'm hoping the run game, still the Florida Gators, I know it's going to be tough sledding, but the Florida Gators are still going to have to try and run the ball. I know it's going to be a difficult task. Georgia's still got a good defense, but listen, I think I don't think the score is going to be 14 point. I think it's going to be around 10. I think Georgia will still get the victory, but I just don't think it's going to be what it has been over the past couple of years, where it's just been Georgia dominance. I think the game is going to be close in the first half. I think Florida's going to put up a good fight. The thing about it is Florida's a young team. Big game against an experienced team. Young guys, when you play a lot of true freshmen, they're going to make freshman mistakes. And Georgia, a great team like Georgia and how much experience they have, especially on the coaching side, they're going to take advantage of that. It just is what it is. So I'm expecting that in this game. And but I'm not expecting Florida to roll over. I'm not expecting them to get blown out. But I think about midway through the third quarter, you're going to see the experience show up for Georgia. They realize this is an SEC game. They've shown up. You've seen at times, South Carolina, they were a little sluggish, but Kentucky, they absolutely just skull drag Kentucky. And I think they're coming with that same mindset that they came with Kentucky. Hey, Florida's 5-2. They're a team to be reckoned with. Florida's going to get Georgia's best shot, but I think Georgia's going to get Florida's best shot. And I think Mertz is, still rely on his short passes get it to the playmakers. But, Carson Beck, we talk about, Graham Mertz's accuracy. Carson Beck is up there in accuracy. He's a very accurate quarterback. But losing Brock Bowers, I'm interested to see how he performs without Brock Bowers, without that security blanket. Because remember, Brock Bowers, whenever the game was on the line, especially when Georgia played Auburn, who did they call on? Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is that guy. So who will be the guy now for Georgia, going forward, even after Florida? Who's that guy for Georgia? May find out whenever Georgia takes on Florida. But we know Ladd McConkey still, he's a good receiver. He's going to get his catches, but it's going to be interesting. Now, a guy to look out for, if you're a Florida fan, listen, I've examined Georgia very well, but Georgia has a tight end that almost looks like Brock Bowers. Every time I see him on the field, it's like a clone of Brock Bowers. At least how they look. Oscar Delp is a guy to look out for. Okay, I know there's a freshman tight end right behind Oscar Delp, but Delp is a guy maybe to look out for and a name to catch on. Oscar Delp may be the guy, maybe the next Brock Bowers. Now, I'm not going to say to that level of how Brock Bowers just is a game changer, how they use him in the run game, but Oscar Delp is a good-looking tight end. He is a sophomore tight end, so it ain't like Georgia doesn't have another tight end behind Brock Bowers. So, but be on the lookout for that name. I guarantee you, his name hasn't been called out a lot. You're probably going to start hearing it, and it'll probably be called out a lot against Florida. I have a feeling for some reason. Georgia fans know what I'm talking about. I swear he looks just like Brock Bowers. But I'm expecting a good game. I'm not expecting a Florida victory. I've gave my, pregame. Every time I do a pregame video, I've done one. I did one against Tennessee, and I said Florida would win. I did one against South Carolina, even though it was on the road. I said Florida's going to get the victory. But this game, unfortunately, listen, I want Florida to win. I want Florida to upset them. But if you want my honest opinion, I think it's going to be a close game. Georgia takes it in the fourth quarter. But me as a fan, I say beat the brakes off of Georgia. Florida by 30. But, of course, I try to give my honest opinion. But we'll find out Saturday. We're going to see what Georgia team shows up. We're going to see what team Florida shows up. If Florida defensively, if they can get after Carson Beck, if that front for the Florida Gator defense can wreak havoc on Carson Beck, it may be a long day. It's going to be up to that front for the Florida Gator defense. I don't have, and I've said it all year long, I don't have a lot of stock. I don't trust that secondary for Florida. Covering, tackling, all the above. I've said that a lot of people tried to change my mind on that throughout the year. I think they've realized, especially after South Carolina, that Florida Gator defense in the secondary is not what we all thought it would, or what a lot of people thought it would be. I remember that people were trying to tell me it was a top 10 defense. I was like, yeah, statistically, but not the eyeballs don't tell me that. And Georgia, they got some coaches over there that know that. So but it's up to that front. Can Princely can those guys get after TJ Searcy, Kelby Collins, true freshman? Can these guys get back there and just disturb and rattle Carson Beck early? They need to do it early. But hey guys, I'm waiting. I'm ready for this game already, even though I'm making this video on Monday night. I can't wait. But hey guys, as always, I appreciate y'all watching this channel. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great one.